Hello folks, today's video is going to be on my specific bonsai soil and how I go about making it. Most of these products are generally available at home stores, specific gardening and irrigation centers, and equestrian stores. These are the soil compositions, these are the different specifics that I use, and I will give you the ratios that I use to mix up my bonsai soil. First off, we're going to start over here on this side. What this is over here is Nature's Helper is the name brand. I've got mine at Lowe's. It's a soil conditioner. It's basically all this is pine bark fines and a little bit of sand. I take this and I sift out all the large particles with a screen, and I utilize the rest of it. Down here in South Carolina where I am, with the heat that we've been having, if you don't have a decent amount of organics in your soil, it's going to dry out way too fast. I'm not here during the day, so I have to rely on my soil composition to remain moist throughout the day to keep the roots from drying out and being desiccated. The ratio I use of this in my soil composition is probably anywhere from 30 to 40%, depending on the tree that I'm putting it in. For my pines, it's more like 25 to 30%, but for the deciduous, which is mainly what I focus on, it's about a 35 to 40% ratio. Next up, this is a hard-fired clay particle, and I'm going to zoom in on this later after I get done explaining everything here. It's called Turfus MVP. There's a national chain that I get this from. It's called E-Wing Irrigation, E-W-I-N-G, or E-Wig maybe, E-W-I-G, irrigation. Anyway, it's used for baseball diamond drainage. Your irrigation companies, I have not seen this in the big box stores, but in the specialty irrigation stores are where you're going to want to look, and it's called Turfus MVP. It's a decent particle size, no need to sift. You can just basically dump that straight in. If you have something that you're trying to develop roots on, you can just use just Turfus MVP. There's a lot of folks that I know that have pine trees and junipers that they just use straight Turfus MVP. So you can use it by itself. I mix it with these components that you see here. It gives me a better composition in general, in total. Sorry. Next up is pulverized lava. This is becoming very scarce in my area. I've contacted the supplier. They're out in Colorado, and you have to buy this by the pallet. So I'm actually saving up right now to buy an entire pallet of this stuff, because I feel personally the color as well as the particle size is perfect for what I need. I have found an alternate. It's quite expensive in my opinion. You get a 50-pound bag for $18. It's called Dry Stall. It's very, very similar in composition. It's kind of porous, but I think what it is mainly is decomposed granite. But it's a little more porous than what I'm used to seeing granite. So I have been trying that out, and I have had some success with that. So if you cannot find the lava, Dry Stall is the name brand of this product, and it does work very well. And it's found in an equestrian supply store. Basically what the Dry Stall is it's utilized to put in horse stalls to keep the horse stalls dry. So that is another product. Now the ratios of these two, the Turfus and the lava and or Dry Stall that I use, is I'm using 50 to 60% Turfus to 35-40% of the soil conditioner. Nature's Helper just happens to be the brand that this is. And then I'm utilizing the remaining amounts, even parts if I have both the lava and the Dry Stall, or one or the other to make up the 100% ratio. So that's my main soil composition of what I use, and my trees seem to love it. It holds moisture decently without making the soil soggy. It does dry out in between waterings. Even in the summer, sometimes even in the summer with these ratios, I still have to water more than once a day. Typically I do not, but every once in a while, these past few weeks that we've gotten here that are 102, 103 every single day and no rain whatsoever, I have had to come out and do some additional watering in the afternoons when I get home. So I'm going to go ahead and do a close-up on these so you can see the actual size and particle sizes and what they look like up close. Okay, here are these 4 different materials up close so you can see. This is the Nature's Helper, this is the Turfus MVP, this is the dry stall, and of course this is the lava rock. Now the dry stall and the lava rock have kind of intermixed here. So just, you know, the reddish colored stuff is the lava rock, the lighter colored stuff is the dry stall. When you get this Nature's Helper or any kind of something that refers to itself as a soil conditioner, you're going to have large chips like this in with it. That's why I screen that. Like I said before, I keep the intermediate and the small particle size. The Turfus MVP, this is what it looks like up close. It's just, you know, small to medium particle size. The dry stalls has anywhere from small to medium particle size as well, and so does the lava rock. So that's what we're looking at on soil composition and what I use to make my bonsai soil. You will have to adjust for your climate. I am in zone 8. Zone 8 is zone 8B, I think. South Carolina, Columbia. What I did is it took me about 6 or 7 tries to get the proper soil combination and the proper ratios together. What I did is I got a 1 liter container, drilled holes in the bottom and the sides of it just like I would for a bonsai pot or a growing container that I used, and I mixed up different ratios and I put them in there and I watered it and left it out on my bench all day in the summer, and I came back to it the same day later on in the day and checked to see how moist the substrate was. If it was slightly damp on the dry side, it was perfect. If it was completely dry, it didn't have enough organic, and if it was still moist or wet and soggy, it had too much organic. So it took me about 5 to 6, 7 tries. I recommend you do the same thing for your climate, because depending on where you live is going to determine how much organic you need versus how much inorganic. This isn't really technically organic, but this is what I consider organic out of everything here. The rest of it is a clay or a rock, and this is a tree material. It's a bark. So that's what I use to make my soils, and those are the ratios that work for me. Like I said, you're going to find your own ratios that work best for you. Anybody else has any further questions, please feel free to post on YouTube a comment or PM me, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. Thank you for watching.